This is a stimulus update and daily news report, and wow, things are getting really crazy. I can't believe what's going on. So yesterday was the self-imposed deadline for the bipartisan infrastructure bill to be presented. Not only was that deadline not met, but it looks like the entire talks are in complete jeopardy and may not happen at all. So there's a lot of infighting happening out in the open, and former President Trump jumps in the mix, pressuring Mitch McConnell, saying, don't do the deal with the Democrats, and saying that the left is playing you. And to make things a little more crazier, Chuck Schumer responds to former President Trump and blasts him in a speech on the Senate floor. You don't want to miss that. Also, it looks like vaccine mandates may be becoming a thing right now. There's more and more trends of that happening in different areas. And then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So with COVID cases on the rise and the Delta variant surging, it looks like vaccine mandates may be becoming a thing. So Biden jumps into vaccine mandate as debate as VA requires healthcare workers to get vaccinated. So the Veteran Affairs is now mandating that health workers are supposed to get vaccinated. Now, this is just one part. In California is requiring proof of COVID vaccination for state employees, predicting significant rise in hospitalization. So that's another requirement. Yesterday, I reported how New York City workers are required as well. And now leading medical groups urge mandatory vaccinations for all healthcare workers. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Do you think this will be a national mandate eventually? Do you think this is a good idea, bad idea? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. When it's mandated, it means that people are no longer going to have a choice. Next, let's talk about the Republican states that cut unemployment early aren't seeing a hiring boom, but who gets hired is changing. So with the 25 Republican states that canceled the unemployment benefits early, 1 Democrat state, so 26 in total, it looks like that states have scaled back unemployment aid that have seen a decline in teen employment and an increase in workers over 25 years old, according to evidence. So it seems like every other day a new study is coming out. So it looks like the states are not seeing a big boom as they hoped they would. It's been about a month or so, and there's still another 5 weeks of the unemployment $300 per week boost for the other states to happen. Speaking of unemployment, you can now get free or low-cost health insurance if you collected unemployment at any point in 2021. So definitely tell people this. I want as many people to know about this as possible. So if you got a single dollar of unemployment in the year 2021, you are eligible for free healthcare. If you go to healthcare.gov, and you have until August 15th to sign up. Tell anybody you know that has been on unemployment and is looking for health insurance, free health insurance. You can get this free health insurance by just signing up at healthcare.gov. Next, let's get into the crazy drama that is unfolding with all of this infrastructure madness. So, Senators' hopeful bipartisan infrastructure spending bill could land Monday. This was yesterday, right? So Monday was supposed to be the self-imposed deadline. Let me know, did you think it was actually going to happen? It didn't seem like it was going to happen to me. So the deadline came and passed. Of course, Congress set another deadline, another day passed on. So what's going to happen now? So Senate infrastructure talks in political jeopardy as infighting spills out into the open. Lawmakers had hoped to meet the self-imposed deadline by Monday, but disagreements keep piling up. So Monday was supposed to be the day that they were just supposed to tie the knot and say, okay, it's all done. We just had one little minor issue to go over. Now it looks like the entire thing is unraveling. Joe Manchin, from Democrat senator from West Virginia, warns everything could fall apart if bipartisan infrastructure bill fails. So it looks like things are not looking good. We went from having it just about finished to now nothing at all, just within hours. So senators, White House in talks to finish infrastructure bill. So I'm going to play a video clip of the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki giving the latest update of what's going on with the infrastructure talks.
I have 2 questions. On infrastructure, there's a pretty robust blame game already going on this morning over the...
Tis the season.
over the negotiations going awry. So I'm wondering if the White House is concerned that the negotiators will not finalize a deal soon, and how much time is President Biden willing to give these negotiators, considering we're on a pretty tight timetable?
Well, as is normal in the end stages of big negotiations, there are some outstanding issues. Democrats made an offer that was designed to resolve each of these outstanding issues, which involve proposed compromises on our part and theirs. As we always are at this point in the negotiations, we're in close touch with Republicans and Democrats on the Hill about this, and we remain confident, I should say, about reaching an agreement. And we're also interested in any Republican counteroffers. So I would say this is to be expected. We always know that there is some wrangling at the end of a process. I would tell you also that White House staff and negotiators worked through the weekend. As I think many of you know, the president worked the phones all weekend and is continuing to. We're encouraged as we reach the final issues that need to be worked out and are confident about the path forward. So yes, time is not endless. We are certainly on a timeline here, and we will work closely with Leader Schumer to get it done.
Do you want to see something this week?
Well, I think we've certainly conveyed, and again, Leader Schumer has conveyed the need to move forward, and we are optimistic about the progress and focused on steadily moving forward, and we continue to see progress being made each day.
So it looks like Jen Psaki being confident that a deal is still going to happen, saying that fighting usually happens like this. Everything is going according as planned. But let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Is this government incompetence? Is this business as usual? All these delays and fighting? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Next, more craziness. So former President Trump pressures Mitch McConnell, GOP, to ditch bipartisan talks until they have majority, basically saying wait a year, and also saying how Trump warns the GOP on infrastructure deal, don't let the radical left play you. So this is pretty crazy here. So former President Donald Trump on Monday warned Republicans about being played as losers by Democrats during the bipartisan infrastructure negotiations as senators rushed to reach a deal this week, saying Senate Republicans are being absolutely savaged by Democrats on the so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill. Mitch McConnell and his small group of rhinos, which stands for Republican in name only, wants nothing more than to get a deal done at any cost to prove that he can work with the radical left Democrats, Trump said in an emailed statement. It's so important to him that he is agreeing to almost anything. Don't do the infrastructure deal. Wait until we get the proper election results in 2022 or otherwise and regain strong negotiating stance. Republicans, don't let the radical left play you for weak fools and losers. Wow, those are really strong words. So what do you think about this from former President Trump? Should the Republicans do the deal with the Democrats? Should they not do the deal with the Democrats? Waiting until the election, until 2022, is over a year away. So that would be November of 2022. So yeah, an entire year before this bipartisan infrastructure deal could be done. I don't know. But the thing is, if it isn't done, if the deal isn't done on a bipartisan basis, most likely it'll be done through whatever was in the bipartisan, the physical infrastructure will just be rolled into the reconciliation bill. So rather than a $3.5 trillion, it'll be a $4.7 trillion bill. So I'm not sure if this strategy will work. Here is a video clip of Chuck Schumer responding to former President Trump's, saying not to work with the left and kind of jumping in the infrastructure talks.
We have reached a critical moment. The bipartisan group of senators has had nearly 5 weeks of negotiations since they first announced an agreement with President Biden. It's time for everyone to get to yes and produce an outcome for the American people. I understand that bipartisan achievements are difficult in our polarized times. Extreme partisans are always rooting for failure. Look no further than the former president. Just this morning, former President Trump, released a statement urging Republicans to retreat from all bipartisan negotiations on infrastructure until after the midterm elections in 2022, maybe longer. Again, the former president said this morning that Republicans are weak fools and losers, his words, for even talking to Democrats, and suggested that the Republicans should not negotiate at all unless they're in the majority. Fox News personalities, following his lead, are now encouraging primaries for Republican senators who support a bipartisan infrastructure deal. Look, There are always going to be radical voices on the far right who brook no compromise. But that's only a recipe for obstruction and gridlock. We have the opportunity right now to actually accomplish something good for the American people. Will our Republican colleagues follow the absurd demands of a disgraced former president and his media allies? Or will they get a good bipartisan deal over the finish line? Republican senators must ignore former President Trump if we're ever going to make progress for the American people. He's rooting for our entire political system to fail. I and the rest of my Democratic colleagues are rooting for a deal.
Wow, the drama is heating up between both Chuck Schumer, former President Trump. I don't know if this is going to help anything to get done. Is it going to hurt things? I'll let you know what happens later on. Also, I wanted to give you a quick update that the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program is still available. This is that $400 stimulus, internet stimulus, whatever you want to call it. Basically, you get $50 a month for 6 months. So that could be $300 right there. And then you also get $100 for a laptop, tablet, or desktop computer. I've gotten a lot of comments from a lot of people in the Wise Flies community saying that they took advantage of this. So that's a free $50 a month. So if you're watching this video, most likely you're paying for internet. Why not just get an extra $300 off your internet over the next 6 months? Still available at the moment. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Russell Young asks, hey David, do you think the $45 billion meant for rent are being pocketed by government workers? Sure sounds like it the way it is. That would be really messed up, and that is way too much money to be pocketed. $45 billion, I mean, I could see maybe a few thousand, 100,000 here or there, maybe to some corrupt government workers, but it should all be tracked. But $45 billion, I mean, I hope it's not pocketed because that money is needed by so many people, by millions of families. But I don't know. Maybe it is pocketed. I have no idea why it's taken so long for that rent money to go out. Next question, Zeke Reiser, any update on student loan forgiveness cancellation? So there's a few different colleges and universities that are canceling student loans just for small groups of people. But as far as the big one, nothing yet, unfortunately. It was a promise made, but unfortunately not a promise kept. Next question, Dodie Bryce asks, what exactly is a vaccine passport? When I got my vaccine, I got a card showing that I was vaccinated. Is that what it is? No, so that was a vaccine card. A vaccine passport is something different. Like in New York, it's called the Excelsior program or something like that. And basically, it's like a digital vaccine passport. So in order to get into a store, an event, an activity, a building, you would show this passport type of thing. So you have your card, your vaccine card, to then get the passport and then use that passport to get into certain things, using it to get into countries, Hawaii, from island to island. So it's different than the card that you got when you got vaccinated. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully cheer you up a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I'm going to tell you how I made these masks. So, first off, how I made these is took strips. Take a ruler and stuff and do it up to 5 and stuff. And then you take the sock and stuff and trim all the other sides and then you trim through it. And then you make little holes, as you see that is inside. And then you strip the clay stuff. And then you strip the strands onto the mask holes. And then that's how you make your mask.